People should be upset about laws against aiding and abetting a crime. While at a glance, to a narrow-minded idiot, such a laws might look like a good idea, it's not. Here's a conversation average people of enlightened intellect would have about such a laws. James Grider is a fictional character who has a conversation about it with his fictional twin sister named Carmela. The fictional conversation goes something like this.
I should not be held legally liable for assisting or helping out a criminal in a crime, James said. We have a right to disagree with the law. It only stands to reason those who disagree with certain laws should have a right to freely help out those who actually broke the laws we disagree with. I can understand society wanting to jail the main culprit who actually did the deed. But why is it fair to put me in jail for helping out the culprit and committing the crime? So what happens if I don't agree that the person who did the crime did anything wrong? Maybe I think the crime shouldn't be perceived as a crime at all, right? So I don't believe the person deserves to go to jail for it. Why, as a citizen, don't I then have the open freedom to help keep that person out of jail by covering up for them or providing some kind of assistance, like giving them a weapon they will need to do the crime?
Because society sees that no different than if you were committing the crime yourself, Carmela said despondently. If you give a guy a gun and you know he will kill someone with it, how is it any different from you killing that person yourself?
Because I didn't kill them, James insisted. But maybe I agree that the person should die, and if by my moral code I agree with that, why shouldn't I be allowed to help out the cause? I should have every right to hide a fugitive from the police, or provide assistance to someone who will do something that may be considered criminal, but which I believe is ultimately good for society. The establishment is so fucking arrogant. They believe you don't deserve to exist, and keep your freedom unless your mind is set only on what is in the interest of the state as defined by the law. Well, what if a person has their own ideas in what is good for the state? Society should be happy that I am not committing the felonies myself, but only drawing the line at providing assistance to those brave enough to do it, instead of punishing me for it.
But if you know, Carmela broke off, too tired to mount an argument.
So what if I happen to like what the criminal did? James said, and I have in my ability to foul up the police from catching him, or I have the power to help out the poor guy in doing something that I consider as a good thing or worthy of being done, even if everyone disagrees. Why should I be punished for that? Why can't people take sides and be able to support one side or the other freely and openly, even if that side is against the interest of the state? Look at police. Everyone praises you if you aid and abet the police in their stupid investigations. You can donate to the police. You can call in tips. You can get deputized as an officer of the law. But what if intellectually you happen to believe the felon is in the right and the cops are in the wrong? Why aren't you allowed to assist the felon the same way openly? That's what freedom is all about. You should be able to take sides without fear of imprisonment. It's like, fine, if a fugitive knocks on your door and asks for soccer, you have your choice to call the cops, and I'll respect that choice. But why in turn can't I have my choice respected to help the guy hide from the cops? Why is my opinion, my belief considered so worthless regarding the criminal's actions that I should be turned into a criminal myself for that?
But if people could openly help out criminals evade the law or break the law, there would be huge networks of people interfering with police duties and investigations, and bad guys would get away with everything, Carmela said.
I don't care, James said. That would be a good thing. Why aren't people allowed to band together and protect each other and their causes, even if the establishment disagrees with those causes? One man's villain can be another man's hero. Police shouldn't be the end-all be-all. They're just a single player who is way too overpowered in the grand scheme of things. Why use the law to drive a wedge between people's allegiances? Why is it that I must either be for the interests of the state, as they are outlined by the government, or be jailed because I decided to assist someone who holds different values?
Most criminals don't commit crimes as some kind of vigilante justice in a fight against a corrupt government, Carmela said. Most of them commit crimes to benefit only themselves. You're speaking here like every criminal out there is Guy Fawkes.
I know, James said, but some of them are like that. I, for instance, am like that. What if, for example, there is a bitchy woman living next door that nobody likes? One day her son gets tired of her and in a rage impulse kills the bitch. Then he needs to cover up the crime, so he asks me to help him dispose of the body by means of borrowing my truck. I agree the woman was a bitch and it's better for everyone she's dead. So I side with him instead of the establishment in the matter. Or he asks to borrow my gun so he can shoot the bitch once she pisses him off enough. Why should I go to prison for lending him a hand? I didn't do the crime myself. But I agree with the outcome of his crime. To me it's beneficial, so why can't I openly assist him without getting charged with aiding and abetting, either before or after the fact? How is it fair to force me to side with the police every time, to go against every fiber of my being, to spit on my own beliefs and ideals, and go against the criminal's wishes, even though his wishes are the same as mine? This has to stop. Laws like this make me feel like we're all society's whores. We're whoring ourselves out in order to stay out of prison. We're taking a shit on our individual ideologies, our individual enlightenment. We're diminishing our power to fight for what we individually believe is right, all for the sake of staying out of prison. That's being a whore. We're all whores of the police and what they want. We're all forced to suck their dicks so they don't charge us with a crime. We're forced to forego our individual beliefs and ideas and allegiances for the sake of some false utopia.
But at least it lets us live peacefully, Carmela said.
I don't want to be a whore to peace, James said. Police need to understand that an impulse to help a criminal can be uncontrollable if you agree with that criminal's viewpoint instead of the police's. You're angry all your life, you get fed up, and you decide that even if you yourself don't have the power or the guts to commit the actions the criminal took, at least in some small way you can help support that criminal's actions by aiding and abetting. And if the establishment doesn't like it, too bad. There should be no punishment for aiding and abetting.
So what can be done to abolish the aiding and abetting laws? Carmela said.
Well, people ask me that all the time, James said.
I really doubt that, Carmela said.
Okay, I imagine that people ask me that all the time, James corrected. Well, I don't know. People need to start killing cops. It all starts with the cops. They're the common denominator of all of people's suffering. Start killing cops if you want change.
Well, I think James is right. A citizen should be able to take anyone's side they wish and assist any side they wish without fear of prosecution for it. That should be the ultimate tenet of freedom in a democratic society. You don't have to be forced to side with the state. You can actually side against the state because the state has no more right to exist in the current form than it does in any other form. Police are very selfish. They want everyone to help them out with their crime-busting missions. But go help out someone in a way that interferes with their goals, and suddenly you're a bad guy. How is that fair? People shouldn't have to betray their family members and friends and personal causes for the sake of the state and nation. You want to openly oppose Elliot Rodgers' schemes, then oppose them. But why can't some people have the same freedom to assist his schemes? How many assholes would bitch and cry if assisting the police suddenly became illegal? You couldn't donate to police anymore. You couldn't even serve them a cup of coffee.